I heard that.
You didn't hear that.
I'm gonna show it live, yeah.
Really? You're not even gonna show it to us?
Hey, look at that.
Oh.
Flag detail, post. Chief Walker will now be presented with the United States flag. The flag folding ceremony represents the same principles on which the freedoms of our proud country were originally founded. The portion of the flag denoting honor is a canton of blue containing the stars representing the states of our veterans of all generations who served in uniform. The canton field of blue dresses from left to right and is inverted when draped as a pall on a casket of a veteran who has served our country in uniform and made the ultimate sacrifice in defense of our freedoms. The Armed Forces of the United States retreat accompanies the securing of the American flag. It signals the end of the duty day and provides an opportunity for honoring the flag, taking pride in rendering proper respect and to recognize the freedom it stands for. At the ceremony of retreat, the flag is lowered, folded in a triangle fold. The red and white stripes are folded into the blue like the light of day vanishing into the darkness of night, and is kept under watch throughout the night as a tribute to our nation's honored dead. The next morning it is brought out, and at the ceremony of reveille, signifying the start of a duty day, it is run aloft as a symbol of our belief in the resurrection of the body. The first fold. In honor of the 13 original colonies and our forefathers who founded this great nation, we salute you. The second fold. To the men who died in the war for independence, we salute you. The third fold. To the men who fell in the War of 1812 to preserve our freedom, we salute you. The fourth fold. To the brave soldiers on both sides, the North and the South, in the Civil War, we salute you. The fifth fold. To those who shed their blood in the name of hope and freedom in the Great War, we salute you. The sixth fold. To those who have gone before us and died in the terrible battles of World War II, Pearl Harbor, Anzio, Midway, the Bulge, Iwo Jima, Guadalcanal, Normandy, and Berlin, we salute you. The seventh fold. To the men of the 1st Marine Division, who in the rear guard action at the Chosin Reservoir in Korea saved their battalion and the lives of their brother Marines, we salute you. The eighth fold. For the brave men and women of our armed forces who died on the fields of fire in Vietnam and whose names will live on forever on that hollowed wall, we salute you. The ninth fold. For those who have lost their lives and suffered by the horrific and unspeakable terrorist acts of September 11th, and those who continue to pay the ultimate sacrifice in action during our post-9/11 operations, we salute you. The 10th fold. For our emergency response personnel and on-site first responders, police, firefighters, paramedics, doctors, and nurses, we salute you. The 11th fold. To God, our parents, and our families who we love and respect, we salute you. The 12th fold. To the men and women of the armed forces, the arsenal of democracy, and the hammer of freedom, we salute you. The 13th fold. Lastly, to freedom, because without freedom, there is no honor. Without honor, we are not Americans. And on this we vow that as long as this flag flies, we salute you. When the flag is completely folded, the stars are uppermost, reminding us of our national motto, "In God we trust." It takes on the appearance of a cocked hat, ever reminding us of the soldiers who served under General George Washington and the sailors and Marines who served under Captain John Paul Jones, who were faithfully followed by their comrades and shipmates in the armed forces of the United States, preserving us the rights, privileges, and freedoms we enjoy today. I am the flag of the United States of America, and my name is Old Glory. I fly atop the world's tallest buildings. I stand watch in America's halls of justice. I fly majestically over great institutions of learning. I stand guard with the greatest military power in the world. Look up and see me. I stand for peace, honor, truth, and justice. I stand for freedom. I am confident. I am arrogant. I am proud. When I am flown with my fellow banners, my head is a little higher, my colors a little truer. I bow to no one. I am recognized all over the world. I am worshipped. I am loved. And I am feared. I have fought in every battle of every war for more than 200 years. Gettysburg, Shiloh, Appomattox, San Juan Hill, the trenches of France, the Argonne Forest, Anzio, Rome, the beaches of Normandy, Guam, Okinawa, Japan, Korea, Vietnam, the Persian Gulf, and a score of places long forgotten by all but those who were with me. I was there. I led my soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines. I followed them and watched over them. They loved me. I was on a small hill on Iwo Jima. I was dirty, battle-worn, and tired, but my soldiers cheered me on. And I was proud. I have been soiled, burned, torn, and trampled on the streets of my own country. And when it is by those whom I have served with in battle, it hurts. But I shall overcome, for I am strong. I have slipped the bonds of earth, and from my vantage point on the moon, I stand watch over the uncharted new frontiers of space. I have been a silent witness to all of America's finest hours, but my finest hour comes when I am torn in strips to be used as bandages for my wounded comrades on the field of battle, when I fly at half-mast to honor my soldiers, my sailors, my airmen, my Marines, and when I lie in the trembling arms of a grieving mother at the graveside of her fallen son or daughter, I am proud. My name is Old Glory. Long may I wave. Dear God, long may I wave.
Flight detail dismissed. I now request all Chief Petty Officers, both active and retired, to rise and remain standing. Cover. Two.
Leave it to me, right? You're welcome, Zach.
you have on this day experienced that which comes to all of us who serve on active duty in our Navy.
I say our Navy because your departure from active duty in no way terminates your relationship. By law and tradition, U.S. Navy retirees are always on the rolls, ever ready to lend their service when the need arises.
The respect you earned as a chief was based on the same excellence that you would now carry into retirement. You have no regrets.
Do not view your retirement as the end of an era, but rather as order to a new and challenging assignment, to a form of independent duty. Remember well that you have and will always be an accepted member of the most exclusive of all fraternities, that of the U.S. Navy Chief Petty Officers.
The active duty chief salutes you. The retired chiefs welcome you. I wish you the traditional fair winds and seas 30 degrees off the bow.
Uncover. Two. Chief's seats. I'll now read Chief Zachar's biography. The biography of Chief Electronics Technician, Navigation, Submarines Qualified, Zachary F. Walker, United States Navy, USS South Dakota, SSN 790. Electronics Technician Zachary Chief Walker was born in Jacksonville, Texas. After completing basic training in Great Lakes, Illinois in July 2000 and Best ETA School in Groton, Connecticut, he served aboard the USS Buffalo, SSN 715, from July 2001 and August 2002. As a member of Navigation Division, completing 1 Westpac, receiving 1 Battle E, Navy Expeditionary Medal, and a Meritorious Unit Citation. And then split toured to the USS Los Angeles, SSN 688, along with myself, from August 2002 to December 2005. As a member of Navigation Division, completing 2 Westpacs, 2 Eastpacs, receiving 1 Battle E, 1 Navy Expeditionary Medal, and 2 Meritorious Unit Citations. He attended Navigation Electronic Sea School in Groton, Connecticut from January 2006 to January 2007. He then transferred to NSSC Pearl Harbor Operations Department from February 2007 to March 2010. From there, he went to USS Helena, SSN 725, from April 2010 to October 2013. As a Navigation Division leading petty officer and completed 1 Southcom, 1 CENTCOM, received the Global War on Terrorism Award and the Expeditionary Counterpart. Following that, he was hand-selected to go to PMT Norfolk, where he served as the site coordinator from November 2013 to April 2016. He then reported to PCU South Dakota, SSN 790, in May of 2016 as the Navigation Division's leading Chief Petty Officer, where he also served as Navigation Operations Department Enlisted Advisor from July 2016 through December 2018. Chief Walker lives in Groton, Connecticut, with his wife and 3 children for about 1 more week. Chief Walker's personal awards include the USS Navy Commendation Medal, Navy Achievement Medal, Good Conduct Award, Sea Service Ribbon, Expert Marksman Rifle, Expert Marksman Pistol, and various unit citations. Ladies and gentlemen, Chief Walker.
Good morning. I'm truly humbled to look out and see how many of you have taken the time out of your day. And some of you even traveled a long way just to be here with me. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Is anyone else excited to be here? It's just me. Oh, you too? As most of you know, I'm not a man of many words. I'm no public speaker. In 20 years, this speech has probably been the most difficult thing I've ever had to do. So I cannot be held liable for anything I say or do not say up here today. Captain, thank you for the kind words. Chase, you left. Thank you for putting all this together. Thank you. Ross, thank you for mastering the ceremonies. Who would have thought back in 03 when we were in LA together we'd be standing here on the same stage again?
We didn't because we were getting out, remember?
We weren't. And you see where that got us. And standing here today, I will never forget all the margaritas you made. Now, 20 years, this seems like forever. Well, I guess it has been. Over the past few months, I've been asked many times, Chief, how'd you do it? How'd you make it 20 years? The answer is both simple and complex at the same time. I've actually originally deducted that there was 4 things you need. First, you need a goal. 20 years ago, my goal was to travel the world just to see things I'd never seen before. 18 years ago, that goal changed. And it was to provide my wife and a certain type of lifestyle. And then shortly after that, it changed to provide for our children. And most of you know Tori has become accustomed to a certain type of lifestyle. And I can maintain that. So 10 years ago, that goal became providing insurance coverage for our daughter, which, like I said earlier, couldn't be here today. So now that all those are achieved, I'm done. Although that goal did come as a cost. So that cost was countless duty days. So 14 years of 3-section duty, 3 West Flight deployments, 2 East Pac deployments, 1 Southcom, 1 CENTCOM, and more small other ways that I can ever count, who always come at inconvenient times. A lot of late nights with broken equipment. We've moved to Hawaii twice, Connecticut twice, Virginia, Maine, and now to Texas for the last time. So I've had to spend a lot of time away from my family. And with that, your goals will change as you progress. They should, because your situation changes. Just make sure that you always have one. My first decade was the toughest. I was in commands that had some extremely poor leadership, as Ross was there too. Not all of them, but a good majority. It was rough. Also, I wasn't a very good sailor, so, to say the least. At my 10-year point, I was actually going to separate. So close that we were 2 weeks from going on terminal leave. Like, I had household goods scheduled, everything. I even had a preliminary DD-214 already. Tori convinced me we needed to stay. So we decided that day I went into work the next day, knowing that I had to re-enlist, but I physically could not do it. Could not do it. I actually called her from my desk and told her I could not move my legs. I could not physically make myself get up and go down to the CCC and re-enlist. And she just simply told me to get up and go do it. So we obviously know what worked. I never regretted it. The second decade was awesome. Minus a little hiccup, which we'll get to here in a minute. We transferred back to another boat. It was here that I reached my turning point. So the second thing you need is a defining moment. A few months after getting to my next boat, Helena, we decided to take leave for the summer, go home to visit family. I had duty the night before we were leaving, and the midwatch on top of that, so everything was good. I was doing my last round about 03 in the morning, and stopped by my space, decided to go ahead and pack up my bags, get everything ready, sat down in my chair, fell asleep. About 10 minutes later, the EPO came in to his tour and caught me. Woke me up, got relieved. And then I sat there for a while while I was letting the captain come in and pondered life and the choices that led me to where I was that day. When the captain got there, he called me to the stateroom. I talked to him for a while. He ended up asking me if I called Tori. And I said I had absolutely not called her. And he said, all right, well, you're going to go do that now. So I had to go make that phone call. That was the worst phone call I've ever made. She had a few choice words, but it was mostly the disappointment in her voice when I told her that, what had happened and I was going to mass. So Captain canceled my leave, but he did let me take Tori and the kids to the bus station so they could go take their airplane. I got back to the boat and went straight to captain's mast. I did 30-day restriction, half month's pay for 2 months, and reduction of rank. The latter of those two were suspended, so I spent 30 days on restriction on a barge. Keep in mind, I was 28 years old, been married for 8 years, and had 3 kids. That sucked. But they did give me one 15-minute phone call a day, and I got supervised visits on Sundays for 2 hours. That was pretty awful too. But I took my lumps and moved on. So, someone called this a defining moment, but I prefer to think of it as a refining moment, because I did not let that moment define me. I made first class the next time up, and then I made chief the first time up after that. And that's where I've been ever since. So it's really how you deal with the things that happen to you as to how you progress past them. The third thing you need is to find whatever in the Navy brings you happiness. So the favorite thing that I've ever done in the Navy was to be the chief of a division. Being able to teach you guys, mentor you guys, and watch you grow as people and as sailors. It's a navigation division. You guys have been awesome. I couldn't ask for a better group of guys, and I'm going to miss each and every one of you. I know that whatever you go on to do in life, you will do great. And I've learned so much from you. I only hope you've learned as much from me as I have you. To South Dakota, every one of you has a part of me being here today. There's too many of you, and I can't go one by one, but thank you all. The final thing you need is to support a family. Always remember that your military days will end, and you will take off the uniform, and what is left with us is the family you have built. And your return depends on what you put into that. Mom and John, thank you for coming all the way from Colorado. I'm happy that you could both be here for me to share this day. Thank you for everything you've done. Barb, you have to have that one person who will drop everything to be there when you cannot. To be where, or when you cannot be where you're needed. Thank you for using my worry when I have to go. I cannot thank you enough for helping Tori and the kids over the years and teaching me code. I also still make better brownies than you. Sydney, CJ, and Brody, you three are the most amazing kids. You've adapted and you're well-rounded. Over the years, I've missed so many parts of your lives. I just hope you know that it hurt me every time I leave. But I'm done with that now. And I'll be here for everything to come. Military children are the only ones who don't choose this lifestyle. It's chosen for them. They're dragged wherever we go. They're children of the world, and they were from nowhere. I've been called many things in my life, but by far my favorite is Dad. And Tori. I don't even know where to start. You have to find someone that makes you better, someone that pushes you, someone that makes you raise your bar. And that's you. you'll find that one person that you cannot be without. I found the strongest woman that I had ever met, and I married her. You were my person, and I couldn't imagine my life without you. I can assure you that I'd never found you. I'd probably be living in a van down by the river. I know this life has not always been easy, but it's only been possible because of you. When you were happy, I am happy. When you were sad, I am sad. When you're mad, it's usually my fault. And if I ever need someone to fight a bitch, I know you got me. Thank you for always believing in me. Thank you for always pushing me. And thank you for always being right. And that is the end of my speech. I have one more thing. One of you, we've had an ongoing feud for about 4 years now over which state was better. Texas or a lesser state. So, Cadet Gonzalez, front and center. We're going to settle this right now.
I don't want to hear it, Pete.
Oh, you're going to hear it, and there's pictures. So this, from the state of Texas, to certify that Mark F. Gonzalez is an honorary Texan. Sorry about jumping right now. So, we're done with that.
Yeah, we're done.
Thanks, Zach.
Now you get to like.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chief Zach Walker. Side boys, post. Boatsmen, stand by to fight the side. This order has been passed on naval ships from the 1500s through today. Spanish, French, English, Dutch. Yes, every navy in the world has used the boatsman's call and side boys to bring aboard or send ashore its officers, visiting officers, and all visiting dignitaries. Side boys would haul the ropes and raise or lower the boarding platform so officers would not have to climb the rat lines, which were hanging over the side for the enlisted crew when going aboard or ashore. This honor was extended to visiting officers, dignitaries, and port officials. It was not uncommon for the commanding officer of a ship to order up the jolly boat, a crew of 8 strong back side boys and a boatswain to send an old shipmate and fellow officer to his shore retirement, home, never to sail on naval ships again. All hands on deck was passed, and speeches were made about great victories, battles fought upon ocean seas, raging storm weathered, and voyages to distant and strange lands where ports of call others only dreamed about. And then a fine sword, a brace of pistols, a rifle or musket, or maybe a sea chest of fine wood and bound in brass was presented to remind him of crews and ships on which he had served. The boatswain would stand tall to the side boys, and the retiree would request permission to go ashore. He would step onto the platform, and the side boys would lower away. As the jolly boat pulled away, a gunner would fire a salute from the ship's main battery, and the retiree sat in the stem sheets, going ashore. In the late 1700s, the U.S. Navy set sail with new ideas, new goals, and a desire to build traditions that would stand the test of time. The U.S. Navy led the way in providing honors for crewmen. The 1800s saw enlisted men holding retirements for enlisted men, and for the first time, the captain would allow the jolly boat to take the enlisted retiree ashore. After the Civil War, the commanding officers began to hold enlisted retirement ceremonies to show the crew that they and the Navy recognized contributions of the enlisted crewmen. Today, our Navy has given most of the pomp and circumstance, the honors, traditions, and ceremonies back to history. Time does not give us the freedom to do these things from the past. Nevertheless, we still have time. We still have to stop all engines, lay about smartly, and drop anchor to pay honor to one of our shipmates going ashore. We honor the years served, the guidance, the leadership, the friendship, and the expertise that this shipmate has freely given for years. Chief Walker, United States Navy, aye, mates, for many years. This man has stood the watch. While some of us lay in our bunks at night, this man has stood the watch. While others of us were attending school, this sailor stood the watch. And yes, even before many of us were born, this shipmate stood the watch. As our families watched storm clouds of war building on the horizons of history, this shipmate stood the watch. Though he saw his family ashore, often needing his guidance, he still stood the watch. For 20 years, he has stood the watch so that we and our fellow countrymen could sleep soundly in safety each night. Today, we are here to say, shipmate, the watch stands relieved. Relieved by those you have led, guided, and mentored and trained. Boatswain, stand by to pipe the side, shipmate going ashore.
Chief Walker, I am ready to relieve you.
Ready to be relieved.
I relieve you.
Stand relieved. Stand relieved.
Chief Walker, United States Navy, departing. Navy family.